Alrighty, so on Friday, we solved by graphing. Today, we're going to solve by substitution. There are your list of steps for substitution. This should be a review, so basically, I'll just talk you through those. I think the most important thing to know when you're doing X and Y, you're going to solve one equation for X or Y. You don't always have to solve for Y. Sometimes, I don't know if you had teachers that told you that or you just kind of feel like you should. And then it sometimes makes your life more difficult if you're trying to force it into Y. So it doesn't matter which one you solve for. When we look at number 7, thank you. When we look at number 7, do I have to actually solve something or is it good like it is? Do I have to solve what? I mean, I have to obviously solve for X and Y, but before I do substitution, do I have to isolate a variable or am I good? I'm good, right? Because they are both set equal to Y. So that means that I can set these two pieces equal to each other. So negative 7x minus 1 equals x minus 9. Okay. And then you can do whatever makes the most sense to you. Next, I would move the 7x and I would move it to the right so I can add it. So that'll give me 8x over here. Then I'd add 9 to both sides. So that's going to give me 8 over here. And I get x equals 1. Everybody good with that? Any questions at this point? Okay, so now that I have x, I also need y. So I'm going to substitute this back into one of the original equations. It does not matter which one. Pick whichever one you think is the easiest. I think the second one is the easiest. So this would be y equals 1 minus 9. So y equals a negative 8. And then just like with the graphing, your answers, unless they're in context, should be in ordered pair. Okay. Everybody okay with that? Any questions? All right. If we look at number 8, the first equation is already isolated for y, so I might as well just use that one. I'm going to take this and substitute it in everywhere I see a y. Your first step should be 0 work, just substitute it in. So this is 3 times negative 5x plus 30, and that equals 42. I promise you the careless mistakes happen when you try to distribute as you go. I'm not saying you would definitely do it wrong or that you're not capable of it, but that's where the careless mistakes happen. So then I would do 7x minus 15x plus 90 equals 42. So what's 7x minus 15x? Negative 8x. So negative 8x. And if I subtract 90 from both sides, I get negative 48. So the x equals what? 6. We're just solving equations after we do that, right? We're good? All right, so then I'm going to substitute it in. I think I would still choose the first one here. So I'm going to get y equals negative 5 times 6 plus 30. So that's negative 30 plus 30, which means y equals 0. Which is a totally fine answer. I think sometimes when y'all get 0, you think you did something wrong or something's weird, but it's 6, 0. Very good. All right, we're going to jump to number 10. On number 10, do I need to solve one of these before I can substitute? Yes. Which one would you pick, the first one or the second one? The first one, be easier. And would you solve for x or y? X. Don't you think if I take that first equation and solve for x, it would make it way easier than solving for y or anything else, right? So this is going to become x equals 7y plus 53. No reason to force it into solving for y. So now I'm going to substitute that in right here where there's an x. So I have -4, open my parentheses, 7y plus 53, and then minus 5y, and that equals 19. Okay, don't skip too many steps because that's where mistakes may happen. So then that gives me a -28 plus, oh, no, I'm sorry, -28y. Don't forget your variables, y, and then that's actually minus 212 minus 5y equals 19. So I'm going to combine my like terms, a -28y and a -5y, -33y, good. And then I'm going to go ahead and add that 212, so that'll give me 233, I think. Then when I divide, and when you're doing these, if you want to use the calculator to help you with computations, that's fine. But I know you can push buttons, so I'm just going to, oh, that's not 233, 231. Whew, my bad. I wasn't paying attention. I was going by memory. Wasn't even looking. 231. But when I divide, then I'm going to get y equals -7. If you had a calculator in front of you, I think you could push the buttons to get the numbers. Then does it matter which one I substitute it back into? No. I would think I would choose this one. So x minus 7 times a -7 equals 53. So x plus 49 equals 53. X equals 4. Then when you put it in the ordered pair, make sure you always put x first, even if you find it second. And there's your answer. Okay. Everybody good so far? Okay. So on Friday, we put these into the yellow calculators because you do need to know how to use those for next semester. And somebody had asked about it on Friday. But SAT comes first. So I also want you to make sure that you know how to use Desmos correctly. So get your computer out, go to Desmos, go to that link up there in yellow. And let's look at how much nicer Desmos is with this than the calculator. Now they do the same thing, but with the calculator, you have to push a whole bunch of extra buttons and know what to do, where Desmos is much more intuitive and nicer to use. If we were to put this into the yellow calculators, then on 9, I would have to solve for y. It has to be solved for y in the yellow calculators. It does not have to be solved for y for Desmos. So when we go to Desmos, we can type it in exactly like we see it. So put in 6x minus 5y equals -28. And the other thing is, on the yellow calculators, your minus sign and your negative are two different things, and you got to be careful with that. Here, it doesn't matter. Minus and negative are the same. Then we put in the other one, 7x plus y equals 22. And then what am I looking for? Where they intersect. So right here, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to go through the silly menus or anything like that. Boom, your answer is 2/8. There's some questions on that SAT stuff that are pretty much that easy. We could make it more complicated by doing it by hand. We still have to know how to do it by hand, okay? But if I can do it, if I'm allowed to use this, I want to be able to use this. My answer is just straight up 2/8. And you're done. Okay. Easy enough? Yeah, it really doesn't get much easier than that. Basically, all you have to know is that you're looking for where they intersect and then be able to type it in. All right, so then type in the equations for 11. Okay, and then what are we looking for? You have to type it in, type that in up there. We're looking for where they intersect, right? And if we zoom out, does it look like they're ever going to intersect? No. So then what are they? It's no solution, but they're parallel. Yeah, I know I asked that question weird. They are parallel. My answer is no solution. If we were to actually have solved this, we would have ended up with something like -5 equals 5. And so remember, if you are doing these things by hand or you're asked a question like this, if you get a false statement, it's no solution. If I got -5 equals -5, then what would it be? It'd be all real numbers. And so if you, what did you say? Infinite. Well, yeah, infinitely many solutions. It's the same thing. That's fine. It's infinitely many solutions, which is the same thing as all real numbers. And if when you're graphing it on Desmos, if you graph 2 lines and you only see one, that probably means that they graphed on top of each other, and that's basically what's happening when you see that. Okay. All right, do 12, and then we'll be done with the notes. And when I did this earlier, the 3 dots looked really close together. If that happens to you, you might need to spread it out some, just so you know you're hitting the right thing. But there we go. -2, -1. Yes, sir. Then you're not typing it in right. Even if it says, what does that say? That is hilarious. I don't know. That's pretty funny. Is your stuff not in English? Here, I got a picture of that. Wait, no, zoom back out. Zoom back in. That's hilarious. I wonder if that, I don't know. And look, even version is weird. It has 2 O's in it. I don't know. You're not even in the English version. All right, are we good? Yes, except for those of you that can't type, so you can't get there. All right. I'm going to hand you your assignment in just a second. Let me show you what I want you to do. Oh, what was the answer? -2, -1. -2, -1. I'm going to give you this. Come on. All right. These 4, I want to see work on. Okay, walk. Oh my God. I'm in a different language also. These you can use just straight up Desmos. Okay, so I want to see work on the first 4. The second 4, you can just type them in and get your answer. We good on that? And you can use Desmos to check your first 4 if you need to. I mean, it's fine to know what the answer is as long as you can show the work to get there.